Hello everyone, what's up? It's me again, Junkmaster3, and yeah, what do you know, it's time for yet a new video, and in today's video it's going to be a ranking video of a movie franchise, which I'm actually a pretty big fan of in general. I mean, there's some stinkers in here as well, of course, that's always the case when it comes to movie franchises in general, but the movies I'm going to rank today is the Sniper franchise. And then you might ask yourself, well, what do you mean sniper? It's just very generic, but it's the sniper films with Tom Berenger and Billy Zane mostly. Um, so I was deciding, just when I was deciding to like rank these films, as of, I mean, I had no idea. Apparently, they've already made three more of these damn films that I've completely missed out on. So, I mean, obviously, they're not going to be included in this list. And then you might ask yourself, well, this is just an incomplete list if you don't include those as well. Now, the problem is, I was trying to find these for a good price anywhere, like on the internet or whatever, but they were nowhere to be seen anywhere for like decent prices. Like, there was one site that I found them on, and they were just too expensive, which is very unfortunate. So, but the ones that are not going to be included in this is the Sniper Rogue Mission, which came out in 2022, and then the next one was Sniper GRIT, Global Response and Intelligence Team, and the last one, which actually came out this year, Sniper: The Last Stand from 2025. So these films I was not even aware of at all, because I mean, apparently these three films still have Thomas Beckett's son in them, but apparently Tom Berenger and Billy Zane are nowhere to be seen in those three films. So you can sort of say that the films I'm ranking are actually the real Tom Berenger Billy Zane franchise, because after part 8, I believe, they were not involved, any of them. So yeah, you'll have to deal with that. Yeah, let's begin here right away. So obviously I'm going to rank them from weakest to best. So yeah. So at number 8, we have Sniper Assassin's End, which came out in like 2018, I believe. Let's see, 2020 actually. Pretty recent as well. I think this was probably released just before the whole COVID thing or like that in situation. But Sniper Assassin's End. I thought this was just so mediocre and so forgettable in general. It's just like some weird thing about this. Because the thing is, when I'm going to talk about these films, they're very. Some would argue that they're kind of generic. It's just like about these people like going out on missions and how they have to like execute a specific type of target and stuff. So I mean that's really like the plot of most of these films in general. And of course there's some betrayal, like people they think they can trust and they can't trust those people in general. I mean there's some twists and turns right there as well. So if you do like somewhat like not annoying, but somewhat like stupid films, like action films, like just these are entertaining action films in general, I would say. But yeah, a Sniper Assassin's End. This has a low budget quality to it. I mean, I don't really know what it is. It feels very low budget, just the way they. It just felt like they shot in like in someone's like land or like some sort of like forest somewhere, like in the middle of. I mean, not in the middle of nowhere. This actually just felt like they filmed it like in some neighbor's backyard, like in the forest behind that. It has that feel to it. I know that's probably not the case, but it has that low budget feel to it that really takes me away from this film or like enjoying this film. I do like the female like assassin in this one, who's sort of like mysterious. You don't really know if you can trust her or not. So I thought she was a nice addition to the film. But other than that, I mean, also Tom Berenger doesn't have a whole lot to do in this film, but you can't really blame him too much because I mean he's getting quite old at this point. So I mean you can't blame the actor for that. I mean he's sort of like he's just sort of more like a weird background character in a way in some of these later films, because I mean most of the action is actually handed out by Chad Michael Collins, who plays the son of Thomas Beckett. What's even his name? Brandon Beckett. Yeah, that's his son's name, like character name. But yeah, in general, this is very low. Not low budget. But I'm not even sure what the budget was for this, to be honest. But this felt very low budget and very off in a weird way. I can't really put my finger on what it was. But yeah, I've only seen it once, and yeah, I might need to rewatch it. But I just thought that it was just like the whole storyline was very muddled as well, in my personal opinion. So yeah. Now at number 7, we have Sniper Ghost Shooter right here, which I'm not really even sure like what part this is. I think this is like part. Could this be part? No, this is part 6, I believe. And this Assassin's End was part 8. Now the reason why I place this quite low in the list as well is because I didn't really like the snowy locations. I mean, I totally understand what they were going for, but some of those scenes felt very boring and like kind of like ugly to look at in a way. I mean, you kind of get bored at it after a while. I mean, it's sort of like if they ever made like a sniper film like in the middle of like the desert somewhere, it would just be, oh, it's just sand. I mean, in this scenario, it feels like, oh, it's just a bunch of like snow everywhere. I usually prefer like sniper type films when it takes place like out in the jungle areas, like really deep within jungles and stuff. So maybe that's the reason why this takes away from me a little bit, and I like this entire film. I think the acting in this is really weird as well from time to time. But this one is the one that has Billy Zane in it, and Tom Berenger is nowhere to be seen in this film. Also, before, I mean, you probably already realized this at this point, but I mean, spoiler alert if you have not seen any of these films. But yeah, I mean, in general, I mean, it's okay for what it is, but I mean, it's not something I don't think I would like run out to rewatch it anytime soon. But yeah, Sniper goes through I mean, some entertaining like action sequences, so that's always a guarantee when it comes to these films. Now at number 6 we have Sniper 2, which came out pretty late after 2002. Yeah, so it's like 7, 8, 9. So it's like 9 years after the first one. And then there was like a pretty big gap between part 3 and 4, I believe, as well. But I mean, Sniper 2 and Sniper 3 were like just straight to video in general. Now, once again, it comes down to the location with some of these films in general. I mean, I do really like the acting in this one in general. You also have, what's his name? Bokeem, I can never pronounce his name, but Bokeem Woodbine, who's been in some low-budget films and stuff as well. I mean, some good films in general. I mean, I do like him as an actor in general, but in this film, I feel he's just so obnoxious and so annoying to the. I mean, they sort of like try to like redeem him towards the end and stuff, but I can't stand his like not his acting necessarily, but his character is just like very forgettable and very like, oh, I don't care for this character at all. Like a poorly written character, and this takes place like somewhere like in, I think it's Eastern Europe. Does it even say this on the back right here? Yeah, it doesn't even say where they are, but I believe this was like somewhere like in Eastern Europe. And once again, yeah, locations, like I said before, really plays a big part of if I like these films or not. Tom Berenger is good though. I mean, he's usually good when it comes to these films. He's doing his best for what he can do. So, and in general, I think Tom Berenger is a very underrated actor in general. So, but yeah, Sniper 2 at number 6. And number 5, we have Sniper Reloaded, which was the first one without Tom Berenger. And this was like the return of Billy Zane as well, because Billy Zane did not appear in part 2 or 3. So that's a little bit weird. Like they're sort of like back and forth if they want to have like Billy Zane or Tom Berenger, if they're available or not. I had like lots and lots of problem with this film the first time I watched it. Like, what the hell is going on? The script is stupid, and I mean, there's so many scenes in this that is just like attempted humor that doesn't really work. And then I rewatched it with one of my friends, because one of my friends, he's a big action fan in general. He usually like watches any action related stuff in general. And I think we both kind of enjoy it. I think it sort of depends also if you watch it like with good company or not, if you watch it by yourself. Because sometimes when you watch it with friends, you sort of like forget about the negative things because you can sort of laugh at the whole thing. Billy Zane is okay. I mean, I would argue, I mean, I'm not really sure if this is like a popular opinion or not, but I mean, in general, I would say Tom Berenger is a better actor than Billy Zane. But I mean, he's still good for what he is in this film. I think Chad Michael Collins, though, in this film is a little bit lackluster. I think he's a little better than some of the other ones. But yeah, in general, I mean, this is still fun for what it is. And this actually does take place like in Africa somewhere. Congo Kinshasa, I think that's the country. And this is the first film with Chad Michael Collins, who plays the son, of course, of Thomas Beckett or like Tom Berenger. And maybe that's the reason why I think his acting is a little bit weird. It feels like it hasn't really come into like that role yet. I mean, he's okay, but it feels a little bit weird. But yeah, Sniper Reloaded at number 5, I believe. Yeah, number 5. And at number 4, this is the film where they got reunited actually. So Sniper Ultimate Kill, which I think is part 7. So in this one you have Chad Michael Connors, of course, the son of Thomas Beckett, and you also have Billy Zane and Tom Berenger, which I think is really fun. I mean, just that they have like screen presence, like they're actually in the film, is really really cool. The problem with the film is the storyline, and I don't really care. I mean, I think it's a little bit of shame that they have more like almost like cameo roles in a way because they didn't really have too much to do. But then again, it comes down to like old age in general, especially for Tom Berenger, who's really like getting old at this point. So I can't blame him for that. But I mean, it is one of the better ones in the franchise, in my personal opinion. I was kind of surprised by this one the first time I watched it because I expected this to be just really, really bad. Because especially after part 6, which I thought was kind of lackluster in general, but this one is better, and yeah, one of the at least one some of the better ones. I mean, somewhere. Let's see here. Yeah, sort of like in the middle of the old franchise, you could say. So yeah, Sniper Ultimate Kill at number 4. And number 3, we speak of Returns and we speak of Sniper Legacy, which is part, let's see, is it part 5, I believe. So this was the one when Tom Berenger came back because he was not in part 4, which was Reloaded. And it's not really any big spoiler or anything like that. I mean, the entire film kind of plays out that you're not supposed to know if Tom Berenger is alive or not, or if he's coming back. But I mean, he's in the front cover, so he has to come back, right? It's not really any big spoiler there at all. I think this takes place like in Greece or something. I do remember there's like somewhere in the Greece area. I think they're in like several locations in this film actually. So it's a little bit of a change of environments that I like about this film, because there's some environments in this film that's like, oh, it's whatever, and the next location you might like more. So I believe they were like jumping back and forth between locations in this one, which was really refreshing and really cool. And I think Tom Berenger in this one is really really good, and Chad Michael Collins has improved after Reloaded in my personal opinion. So yeah, Sniper Legacy at number 3. And at number 2, this is a film that I just didn't care for at all the first time I watched it. I thought, well, this is stupid, this is garbage. But after watching it rewatching it several times, I've actually grown to really enjoy this film, and it is Sniper 3, which came out in let's see, 2003 or 4 or something. 2004, yeah. So this was the one before Tom Berenger called it quits until he came back in part 4. But this takes place in this is like Vietnam or something. I think it's some Asian country. I don't really remember what country it is because it doesn't say here on the back. Maybe I should have researched much better before making this video, but that's how it goes sometimes. But I think the storyline in this one is one of the better ones really in the entire series, and especially because Tom Berenger is having like this conflict with his old buddy that he knew in Vietnam that saved him, and he's pretty much gone to the dark side and become like a smuggler or something, like some sort of criminal, and he's sent out there to capture him because obviously he would know like his tactics and like his entire like his personality and like how he thinks. So he's sort of like assigned to capture this guy, and I thought that was a very interesting concept and a really entertaining like sort of like storyline. And I think Tom Berenger is really great in this one of his best performances in the entire series, in my personal opinion. And the guy who plays the bad guy, or like his old friend, so to say, I thought did an amazing job as well. You have some really cool underground, like under tunnel sequences in this one that was really, really cool and really well made, I would say, especially for like a straight to video film. Yeah, Sniper 3. This one I remember not liking at all, but I mean, when I rewatched it, I really really enjoyed it. So that's the case with when it comes to some of these films in general. Like the first time around, you might really despise a film. That's the reason why I sometimes go back to a film like, oh, this film had potential. Maybe I'll like it the second time around, and this was a really good example of that. So yeah, Sniper 3. And then, of course, comes to no surprise that at number 1 we have the one that started it all, Sniper, from 1993, I believe. This is directed by Luis Loza. I probably can't remember pronounce his name, but he also directed Anaconda, the first Anaconda film, if that's even saying something. I mean, that's almost feels blasphemous to a certain degree, because I know that's a sort of like shitty snake film in general, which hasn't aged very well. This one, though, is really, really amazing, and I really want more people to watch this one if you like action-type films. I mean, then again, I wouldn't necessarily call it a full-blown action film, even though it has lots of action in it. This is more like a weird character study, or like more like a thriller film than a straightforward action film. because it's basically about Tom Berenger. He's sent out to like eliminate this drug dealer or like this smuggler once again, and in some like sort of like guerrilla movement apparently. And I believe this is in Panama. Yeah, Panama, and of course you get like great shots out in the jungle area, and there's like really large and cool looking locations, and it's just so atmospheric as well. The music is just amazing, the acting is spectacular, and I love the chemistry between Tom Berenger and Billy Zane in this one. So Billy Zane is basically sent there because just to get, he's sort of like the next in line, you could say, because I mean he's shooting someone from a helicopter, or so they think, but he's just sort of like lying about that. So he gets like sent into the jungle with Tom Berenger, and he's just a complete noob, if you can even say that, like in in movies, in the movie world in general. So Tom Berenger's sort of like a little bit fed up with him, like, oh, you have to learn better than this. I have to learn, like, you have to teach you how to do this and whatever. So their chemistry is really cool, and especially when they're like really like angry towards one another, but they eventually understand that they need to work together to complete this mission, which is a really tough mission in general. So I mean, don't go into this film expecting a full blown action film, like I said before, even though it has some really cool action sequences as well. But it's just the atmosphere and the music and the chemistry between these characters that I just really love, and I think the villains are very memorable as well, because once again this is a guy that Tom Berenger has had connections with before. Not that he's like a smuggler himself, but he knows about these people and what they're really up to in general. So yeah, really entertaining film. If you haven't seen this one, go check it out. I mean, if there's any sniper film you should watch, go check this one out. This is really entertaining, and I've seen it so many times and I never get tired of it. So, and I would say part 2 and 3 you can watch as well. After that, it's sort of like an entire type of and different type of style to them, you could say. So sort of like people that like 1, 2, and 3, you often probably don't like these later ones, and the ones that like the later ones probably won't like the earlier one. I'm not really sure. This is just a theory of mine. So yeah, but anyway, Sniper, first one of course at number 1. So yeah, there you go. That's my ranking, you could say, of the Sniper films, or like the Sniper franchise, including Tom Berenger and Billy Zane. Like I said before, there are 3 more films in this franchise apparently. I'm not even sure, because when I looked this up on IMDb, it doesn't even say that they're connected with the other ones, even though they had Chad Michael Collins in them. What's his name? Yeah, Chad Michael Collins. So he's in the 3 latest ones, and Tom Berenger and Billy Zane is nowhere to be seen. And yeah, I'm not really sure if I'm even gonna. I mean, if I find them dirt cheap somewhere, I might pick them up just to see what it's all about, and maybe I'll just re-rank these films again. But yeah, you can say what you will about that. I mean, it's just the fact that I just can't get a hold of them right at this point for a decent price. So, but anyway, hope you enjoyed this particular video, and next video is probably going to be another, let's see, what's the next video? Yeah, I'm going to make the 10 movies that I dislike or hate, that everyone else loves, horror edition, you could say, or like horror themes, because I mean, horror is really like my favorite genre in general. And also I'm gonna do the similar thing, like I said before, like 10 movies that I love or like that everyone else hates, horror films. So yeah, but anyway, keep your eyes open for these videos, and yeah, see you next time. Bye bye.